glad to have you back. Yes, we are still in the show Political Spectrum, reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakura. And right about now, I have been joined on this set by the director, Akwa Ibom State Internal Revenue Service, in the person of Mr. Leo Leo Umana. Great to have you back on the show.
Thank you very much, my sister.
Yeah, the last I checked, I think when you last came here, I wore white, you wore black. Well, what a coincidental switch, but that's on a lighter foot. I'll quickly like to ask you, we are in the times where a lot of persons have indicated interest to take up one leadership position or the other, and consultations are ongoing, specifically within the People's Democratic Party. And some critical questions need to be answered, and some critical questions need to be asked as to the motive and the driving force. But as a person, I'll ask you, what's leadership to you?
Leadership is all about influence. Leadership is all about performance. Leadership is all about vision. Leadership is all about the people. What you can do for the people, and not what the people can do for you. And leadership is all about impact.
Impact. Judging from the aspect of impact, do you feel, because a couple of persons that are already indicating interest have been leaders in some different capacities at some point, do you feel they have created enough impact to be given another opportunity?
It is left for the people to determine. Because when you are talking about leadership and aspiring for one position or the other, you are going there to represent the people and not yourself. So it is down for the people to assess you and say, yes, you can represent us.
Oh, well. Interestingly, to put it more straight, I have seen something about you. Now, you have served in a capacity as the director of Akwa Ibom State Internal Revenue Service, and you have aspired to go higher and further in your service to humanity. Now, what has been that driving force? Well, no, first, what is the inspiration, would I say? What's the driving force to push further to that level? Yeah.
My philosophy in life is to live for others. That is all about me, living a sacrificial life. Whatever I can do to better the life of another person, I willingly do those things, even to deny myself the comfort of the basic things to my life. That has always been my philosophy. And life is all about growth and development. You know, when you find yourself in a particular level, it is natural you should take a step further. You know, that has always been my inspiration. You know, it's not really good to remain in a particular place for too long. Redundancy will set in, and there are a lot of things that will not allow you to function again. So that has always been my inspiration, to see how I can be of help as an instrument to better the lives of other people.
Okay.
And contribute to the development of humanity.
To contribute. Before you say to contribute, what do you feel is lacking in the system that you feel your appearance into the system can help correct?
You know, my sister, we are created differently. You know, and they are gifts and they are seeds deposited in us. Just like you're seated here, you're doing well in your choosing career. You know, I believe that there are some seeds, there are some greatness inside me. That's something that the whole world is waiting for. To be a solution to the world's problems or humanity, the problems of humanity.
Yeah, but there must be that particular niche you feel is lacking behind and you want to fill.
You know, when you are talking about meeting the needs or filling the needs, like now people are asking that I should come and contest, I should aspire to represent Ikorebone Uborokara. Maybe the youth must have seen something in me, like what you're talking about. I was equally shocked that day because I think one of these bachelors did the flyers and posted it. The next moment, the thing was so viral on social media and on other platforms. And I sat down and even asked myself, what is it that I'm doing different? You know, for such love, such I was on social media, I was reading the post, you know, what people were posting, what people were saying about me. And, you know, the amazing thing that it cut across the party divide. People from APC and PDP, they posted the flyer. So I was asking, but I am a PDP member, you know, and if I want to contest election, I want to contest under PDP. But look at APC members posting about an aspiration that is equally going to be a problem to them. if we go to election.
Okay. So you said people from the All Progressives Congress and
Yes.
people from the PDP.
I don't want to mention names here, because even one of them said he's a PDP, he's a APC member, but he has to do this because of who is involved. I said, and the other one said endorsed by bandits and hoodlums. And the other one said Leo Umana is the only candidate that will have a delegates from both APC and PDP. So when I read those things, I asked myself, what am I really doing that is different?
Oh, then what was the response you gave yourself?
And I just look at myself. I don't say, if what I'm doing is what has endeared me to people, that means I have to do more.
Now, let's talk about the doing more. What do you think you can do to add up?
I think the most important thing is being accessible to people. You create time for people. Those are the little things I do. Like one of them posted, this is a man that if you chat him within 3 seconds or 3 minutes, he will reply to your chat. It's not all about money. So many people that come to us don't come because of money. Maybe there is a word they want to hear. Like one day I was talking to somebody. Immediately I said something. He says, that's all that I was looking for. The guy stood up and said he was ready to go. That he had a challenge, that he was looking for who to talk to, and he said he should come to me. So as we were talking to him, I now made a statement. He said that's what he was looking for. And the guy left. And I believe that he left comforted, he left satisfied. So it's not all about money. It's about making yourself available to the people.
Now, going away from that, let me find out. Let's say people are clamoring that you contest. What do you want? Do you feel you can step up in that?
Yeah, why not? It's all about vision. It's all about saving your people. Maybe what they are clamoring for is in line with my vision. It's in line with my thoughts. Okay. So it is. So I can boldly say it's at the appointed time.
Well, we'll put a pause to it and go on a short time out. When we return, this conversation continues. And just so you know, we are live on our different social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and of course on YouTube. So do well to join with the handle at Spectrum TV NG. We'll be back after now. Welcome back. The show is still Political Spectrum, reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. And yes, I'm still here with our guest, the director, Akwa Ibom State Internal Revenue Service, in the person of Mr. Leo Leo Umana, which of course some people from different political parties are clamoring that he takes up another dimension of leadership. Let's talk about that particular ambition. What do you think could make you fail on that?
I'm a very positive-minded person. I don't see any failure. I don't envisage. I don't see any failure. Like,
yeah, to be, there are always two sides to everything. You don't see any failure, yes. But what do you think are those things that could go wrong at some point and maybe slide?
I think, in the first place, I think I wouldn't really want to say I'm really good or the best.
Okay.
I think I must bring in the God's factor. Yeah, that God has the final say. We're talking about grace. But and I'm one man that before I set out on any journey, I must hear from God. I need to ask. I don't just set out on any journey or anything. I must hear from God. Get clearance from God.
What's your opinion on this God factor in leadership? Because we have seen over time people coming up with campaign slogans that at the end has some religious inclination, with specific to Akwa Ibom State, because a lot of campaign slogans are coming with the God factor. And some people are of the opinion that this could be a myth, to run away from realities and maybe, have some people believe in them.
No, so, I wouldn't think so. I think by Leo Leo Umana is a household name, not only in Akwa Ibom and in Nigeria. And two, the things we do, we are known for the things that we do. How do you assess me? How do people assess me? When we're talking about Christianity, like I'm a member of Mountain of Fire American Ministry, people should begin to ask questions, about my activities in the church. Because some people can hide, just like you have said, a lot of people can hide under the cloak of this church to perpetuate evil and commit crime. So it's not everybody that goes to church that are Christians. It's not everybody that goes to church that are believers. So, two, I will not be deceived. Nobody will use God's factor, God's maybe inclination to come and deceive me. You know, I think if we lie against God, there's a judgment hanging on our head. So I wouldn't want to use God's name wrongly.
Yeah, most times the judgment comes in the afterworld.
Yeah, but
in reality,
judgment is judgment. But we human beings, we always want our thing to be sudden, to be immediate. No, God doesn't think that way. Maybe He will give you time to repent or to say, I did this and I'm sorry. That's God for us.
Well, I want to believe that before that ambition was nursed and before the people came up with all those flyers and all of that, you have sat back to think about some certain things. What are those plans that you have made? Peradventure, these ideas.
Yes, I believe in the growth of other people. I believe in sustainable development. I don't believe in these politics of 2,000. You come to me, I give you 1,000 and 2,000. Maybe you go to eat, and at the end of the day, the problem of hunger is solved. I believe that if I want to do anything on it should be sustainable. It must be systematic. Either you think of what you can do for yourself, either you learn a trade or you go to school. And I should be able to sponsor you and at the end of the day set you up so that you can stand on your own. That even tomorrow, if I have the need, I can call you. And you know that I need such amount of me. You'll be willing to help. Or maybe during Christmas, you'll be coming to pay homage to me with some gift. That's what I believe in. I believe that, you know, the consciousness of the people should be changed. You know, it's not all about what government can do for you. What can you do for yourself? And in a situation where we have over, like Akwa Ibom is we are more than 6 million. It's not possible for the government to be giving food to the 6 million people. And this sense of entitlement and sense of indebtedness, that everybody that aspires to an higher office is indebted to you. Maybe I must come to buy you a car, I must marry for you, I must buy a land for you, and I must build for you. We must do away with those kind of things. It all depends on leadership. What kind of leadership are you coming to give? Because I believe that when the head is correct, other components of the body will be correct. So we need to keep on talking to these people so that their mentality could change, their perception towards leadership too could change. You know, and by that time it will be very challenging because it will balance. If you know that if you are going there to represent your people and you don't represent them well, that the people will go against you. You know, it's not a situation where you call your people, you buy drinks for them, cook food for them, and at the same time you say, give us transport money. No, that is not all about. That is not all about.
I guess that's on the other side. But looking at your area of interest, where you are aspiring, is basically the issue of lawmaking. What particular law have you seen, or which particular area do you think you can, touch by your activities?
Just like they posted the other day that they will not be surprised to say, Mr. Speaker, this bill must be passed so that bachelors will not be hanging on the street with their sisters. I think the area of marriage is of great interest to me. Just like what is happening in Benue, where the bride price and everything that has to do with the traditional marriage is pegged at 200,000. We can do such to encourage these young men to go into marriage.
Well, quite intriguing there. You said to reduce bride price, but you see that bride price is 60 naira. It's quite fair enough for any young man who wants to marry.
5 naira.
You paid 5 naira.
Yeah.
So don't you think
I paid
that's
5 to the
enough?
father. I paid 3 to the mother.
5 to the father, 3 to the mother.
Yeah, which was
and how else would you want it to be reduced?
Apart from that, these exorbitant, some lists are like dictionary, some are like higher education, especially when they want to talk about if you marry from maybe a Timepo, Orogonam and Okanafun, where the parents will ask you for ladies' bike, wheelbarrow, generator. All those things are not necessary now. How do we approach it? We will involve the traditional rulers, the paramount rulers. We involve the clan heads, involve the village heads. For them to see this in reality with the economic situation in the country doesn't permit all those things, because marriage is not all about the traditional marriage. The real marriage is after traditional marriage, how the couples fare, their welfare, and their growth in life. I'm against the exorbitant marriage list.
Well, quite a bill that we look forward to see, peradventure. You know,
already I've started working on it. Yes, I've engaged some people to begin to do it for me. I wanted to sponsor it as a private bill, but I believe that I may not really have my way through. So I believe by the special grace of God, when I'm sending, I think I'll be able to present the bill and follow it up so that it is passed.
Okay, we'll put
I know it will interest you too.
I know I'm married already.
No, it will interest. What am I saying? Okay. So, because definitely you are married, you have kids, you have brothers, you have sisters, and you have friends.
Whoa.
Because a lot of people will tell you they would have loved to marry, but they don't have money. Like the other one brought about 7 pages to my office the other day, and when you look at how it was on the high side, and the young man sat down and did a rough estimate of it. So you can imagine you taking 8 to 9 million to go and do traditional marriage. That is the money that maybe you would have used to do investment that will come and sustain the marriage. So it's not really good.
Well, Mr. Leo Leo Umana has interest in getting bride price reduced. And of course, we'll come back to him after this time out. Please stay with us. Glad to know that you're still there. Yes, we are still on the show Political Spectrum, which is reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. And Mr. Leo Leo Umana is here. Before we went on that time out, he talked about a bill he will sponsor. He also mentioned that he believes in human capacity development, which, of course, I want to come back to you on that. You know, a lot of times we have heard people say these things, and when they assume, peradventure they assume office, they come up with issues of a dwindling economy, economic meltdown, after effect of COVID-19. You know, there will always be issues that could mar development. Now, how would you achieve your ambition amidst the economic crisis that, of course, might never go away?
Yeah, my sister, that is a very good question. The Bible says that he that is faithful with a little will be faithful with much. You know, where I am today, am I able to touch lives? Yes. I think I'm the first board member that did an empowerment program in my ward, where I assisted students, about 100 of students. I gave them what I call educational grants. I bought how do you call it?
Hair dryer.
Hair dryers. I bought clippers. I bought sewing machines. I gave to people. You know, I said to help them to start up. I even while the COVID was on, I even sent about 5 people to go and learn how to sew. And at the end of the day, I bought machines for them to start their life. So if I could do that with the little that I have now, so that means as I advance further, with a lot of resources coming, I will do more.
There are always arguments that they're doing this to get to this, and when they get to where they, you know, using one as a means to an end, and when they get to the end, everything changes.
No, you know, even by the special grace of God, I go to House of Assembly. That is not going to be my final bus stop. I will still want to go further, and to go further, that means I must do well. I must do better than, you know. Today, let me say I am good. Tomorrow I want to be better. And as we progress, I want to be the best. And from being the best to excellence, and from excellence to what we call supernatural. You know, that level is, you can't understand what is happening with you.
Well, basically, let's talk about Akwa Ibom politics going forward 2023. We know that the primaries are very close by. Do you feel the PDP has been able to put their house together? Because we have seen issues of conflicting interests to aspirants coming from a particular local government to vie for different positions. Of course, there are conflicting interests. And do you think that could bring rancor during the primaries?
No, I don't think so. You know, that we have a culture of respect to our elders, respect to our leaders, and respect to party. And that's why you hear some people say that party is supreme. In politics, it's all about interest. And there is no way that you are talking about a particular office that interests won't conflict. For example, like Leo, I must have opponent. It's natural. You know, but at the end of the day, it's one person that will emerge. And others will fall behind and support you, and you know. maybe they can defect to another party. But I don't really find that here because of this culture of respect, culture of, being that PDP is a religion in Akwa Ibom. You know, when you go to the other side, even people in the other side, they are coming back to PDP. So what are you going to do there?
So I asked you initially, what could mar what could, make you...
We have a...
And you said nothing, you're optimistic. Peradventure, the party says, okay, Mr. Leo, that ends it. What happens?
We have an internal mechanism of resolving issues in the party. We have elders in the party. They will call a meeting, they will talk to you, why it should be you and why it should not be you. That is an internal arrangement. So there's always an internal mechanism of resolving problems.
Well, many thanks for joining us on the show.
And another thing...
Okay,
I wanted to conclude,
Okay.
You see, 2023 election is a different election entirely because of the development of politics. Politics is growing not only in Nigeria but in Akwa Ibom State. One is what Akwa Ibom wants. A leader that will be able to take over from where the governor has stopped to another level. And peace, unity, development.
Now, you're talking about what Akwa Ibom people want. The time will fail us because we are the women of this show. Okay. But what Akwa Ibom wants, do you think is what is presented to them at this time?
Yes, if somebody has been presented. If Akwa Ibom doesn't want, we have our PVC. But you can see every day rallies here and there, consultations here and there. People are lying. It's natural. You see, there are things that we can change as humans, and there are things that only God can change. So those things that you can change.
Again, the God factor comes to play, but we'll put a post to it right here and call it a day on this particular show until Political Spectrum returns tomorrow. My name is Otobasi Tom. Bye for now.